What happens when the king of chaos finally faces the truth he spent decades running from? Watch as Donald Trump's carefully crafted empire crumbles in real time after Jimmy Kimmel exposes the shocking lies that built it. The meltdown? Unforgettable. The truth? Impossible to ignore. In the high-stakes, high-wire act of modern American politics, there is no greater spectacle than a confrontation between unshakable power and unvarnished truth. For years, Donald Trump has masterfully controlled his own narrative, steamrolling critics with the sheer force of his personality. But what happens when that unstoppable force meets an immovable object, not on some debate stage, but on the disarming set of a late-night talk show? That was the stunning, historic collision summed up in the title of this story. Trump goes nuts after Jimmy Kimmel exposed this live on air. In one interview for The Ages, Jimmy Kimmel, the man Trump dismissed as a low-rated clown, pulled off what no political opponent has ever managed. He came armed with receipts.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's terrible. You know what suspended him? His talent. You know what else is really what? Take a look at this guy, his ratings. That's what got Jimmy Kimmel out. He was terrible. And didn't he lose? I saw a report where ABC lost millions of dollars with him. So that's what suspended Jimmy Kimmel.
In a moment of pure, unscripted television, he exposed a 50-year-old lie so central to Trump's identity that it caused the president to have a complete and total meltdown in front of the entire world. The event was billed as a primetime conversation with the president, a special edition of Jimmy Kimmel Live. The air in the studio was electric, tense, and packed with a specially selected bipartisan audience. President Donald Trump walked out to a mixed, almost jarring reception of boos and thunderous applause. He was in his element, feeding off the energy, a master showman ready to dominate a host he clearly believed was a lightweight. He sat down, a broad, confident smirk on his face, ready to perform and tout his new tax cut legislation. Jimmy Kimmel, for his part, was not the man the audience was used to. His usual comedic, laid-back demeanor was gone, replaced by the calm, focused intensity of a seasoned journalist. He was there to get answers, not to tell jokes. For the first 20 minutes, the interview was a tense but predictable spar. Trump dodged, weaved, and boasted about his new tax cuts, calling them the greatest in history. Kimmel patiently fact-checked, refusing to let the president's familiar deflections slide. You could feel the pressure build. The flashpoint came when Kimmel pivoted to the very foundation of Trump's public persona, his business genius.
You know, there's a rumor making the rounds this weekend that Trump was dead because he hadn't been in front of a camera for a few days. That's how much he's in front of a camera. When we don't see him there, we assume he must be dead. And also, he has mysterious bruising on his hand, which they tried to cover up with makeup. And this cover-up's even sloppier than the Epstein one. How could anyone let him go out?
Mr. President, Kimmel began, his voice even and precise, you have built your entire brand on the story of being a self-made man, a brilliant deal maker. You famously said you got a small loan of $1 million from your father and turned it into a $10 billion empire. You've held that up as the ultimate American success story. Trump nodded proudly, beaming at the audience. That's right, Jimmy. A small loan, $1 million, and I built one of the greatest companies in the world. A lot of people don't have the brain for it. I did. I have. I'm the king of debt because I understand it better than anyone. He was confident, basking in his own origin myth. He had just walked directly into the most perfectly laid trap of his public life. Kimmel let the boast hang in the air for a moment. He didn't laugh. He didn't move. His expression was unreadable. Mr. President, he said, his voice quiet but now carrying a new, dangerous edge. I'm glad you brought that up. The studio fell dead silent. Kimmel reached under his desk and pulled out a thick, bound document with a simple, academic-looking cover. We've been doing some research for this interview, Kimmel continued, his voice steady.
For children, you would think a person who himself has the brain of a child would be in favor of funding pediatric brain care research.
This document is a certified copy of the 1991 New Jersey Casino Control Commission's investigative report on your finances, which was unsealed last year. We've spent the last month going through all 800 pages of it. Trump's confident smile faltered. His eyes narrowed. This was not in the pre-interview note. You're right, sir. Your father did give you a $1 million loan, Kimmel said, but that's not what this report says, is it? A simple act that transformed him from a host to a prosecutor. This report, he said, opening the binder, details how, when your casino empire was collapsing in 1990 and you were $3.2 billion in debt, Your father, Fred Trump, concocted an illegal scheme to save you from personal and professional ruin.